Yellowstone National Park is famous for its wildlife, including bison, wolves, and bears. But spring flooding has brought another kind of wildlife to the surface. From the depths of the rivers, billions of aquatic insects are emerging, salmon fly and mayfly. And as they take to the air, they are met by fish, birds, and mammals who are ready to feast. But why are the animals coming to Yellowstone now? Why is it important, and how do they deal with each other? Well, let's find out. As snow melts across Yellowstone, rivers swell and flow over their banks. It seems like everywhere at once, new life is bursting from the ground. Underneath the water, though, there is more going on than meets the eye. Throughout the winter, the salmon fly and mayfly have been living in the water as nymphs. They use their gills to breathe underwater and their legs to paddle along. But soon they'll need to make one final paddle upstream to complete their transformation into adults. When the water temperature reaches around 50 degrees Fahrenheit, the adults will emerge and fly off to start their new life. Their time in the air will be brief, but it will be enough time to lay their eggs before they die. The mayflies and salmonflies have timed their emergence perfectly. In a matter of days, the rivers will be full of nutrients and oxygen, making them ideal places to raise a family. But while the insects are vulnerable after emerging from the water, flies that linger on the surface are in danger of being snapped up by predators below. There are hungry cutthroat trout waiting in the rivers, and they are not messing around. These fish have been swimming against the current for weeks. And thanks to a bit of help from Mother Nature, they have made it all the way upstream to spawn in the shallow summer streams. To get here, they had to travel through fast-flowing white water, leap over waterfalls, and dodge rocks and logs. Not only that, but their marathon swim is happening earlier than ever before. When the rivers rise in spring, the cutthroat know that conditions will be perfect for raising their young in the summer. That's why they head upriver to spawn as soon as they can. But if the river thaws out faster than expected, well, the fish don't know about that. It just means they begin their marathon swim 2 weeks earlier than normal. In late April, the team had begun to see signs of fish migrating upriver. At first, it was single individuals, then they started to see small groups. By mid-May, though, the numbers were astounding. Every day, thousands of cutthroat could be seen leaping upstream. It's tough going. Fish get injured and tired, but they keep moving forward. After all, this journey is critical to the survival of the species. Cutthroat trout are endangered, and scientists estimate that Yellowstone's cutthroat are the rarest of them all. They face threats both in the water and on land. In the park, non-native lake trout prey on cutthroat eggs and compete with them for food. Meanwhile, development, farming, and mining outside of the park degrade and pollute the trout's habitat. Yet despite these threats, every spring, nature gives them a fighting chance. Thanks to the spring floods, the cutthroat are able to move upstream to where they can find refuge in cold, clear water. There's no major predators waiting for them in these waters, and there's lots of space for their young to grow. For the fish that manage to reach this point, it's been a long journey. Some are injured, some are exhausted. But it's worth it because the cutthroat have made it to prime spawning habitat. Here, oxygen levels are high, and there are lots of little tributaries for the females to lay their eggs in. The fish will fan their eggs out, then leave them to hatch on their own. And if you think that sounds easy, try doing it while being attacked by a bird. This osprey has flown all the way from South America to feast on Yellowstone's fish. The fish is aware of the osprey circling above, but there's not much they can do about it. With long, sharp talons and a hooked beak, ospreys are uniquely adapted for catching fish. The fish might be able to escape most predators, but not this one. With a splash, the osprey makes its move. Its sharp talons are out like hooks and its beak is open wide. The fish flops wildly, trying to free itself from the osprey's grasp. The bird flies toward the nearest tree, giving the fish less time to thrash around. Once on the branch, the osprey systematically picks meat off the fish, saving the best bits for last. If you look closely, you'll notice the fish has something protruding from its mouth. This is the key to solving a mystery that puzzled scientists for years. What brought the cutthroat trout to Yellowstone? Scientists struggled to answer this question until they examined the stomach contents of dead cutthroat. Inside, they found tiny crustaceans called scuds. These scuds live in lakes at lower elevations. So, why would cutthroat trout swim all the way upriver to spawn? Well, it turns out they follow their favorite snacks upriver, too. There are even more scuds for cutthroat to eat in the spring. The fish can gorge themselves before making their arduous journey upstream. Scientists believe the abundant food source could be why Yellowstone cutthroat are able to travel such long distances to spawn. Well, that and the fact that they're extremely fit. Unlike many fish, cutthroat have very flexible ribs. This allows them to change the shape of their bodies, which helps them navigate rough waters. Their swim bladder, which helps them control buoyancy, is also extremely flexible. In fact, it's divided into 5 sacs, which helps the fish make quick adjustments to water pressure. All of these adaptations allow the cutthroat to leap upstream, sometimes up to 7 feet in the air. But it's not just salmon flies and ospreys looking to feast. On the cutthroat, beavers have built dams across streams, creating deep pools of water where the trout can rest. For beavers, the fish are a tasty treat, but they won't get an easy meal. The cutthroat are always watching for predators, and if they spot a beaver, they'll dart out of the pool and disappear into the weeds. For other creatures, the fish are a lot easier to catch. This otter is fishing to feed her 2 young pups. She's spent the morning diving underwater, searching for fish to eat. She's finally spotted a trout and swims closer. Otters are naturally curious and playful, but when they're looking for food, they become efficient little machines. Using their paws, they rake the river bottom, sending up puffs of silt and disturbing the insects and small fish hiding in the weeds. These bugs and fish are a great snack for the otters, but she's hoping to find something bigger. Sure enough, she spots another cutthroat trout. This one isn't quite as fresh, but the pup will be happy with the snack. The otter catches the trout, then swims toward shore to stash her prize. Meanwhile, her pups are playing in the water. They tumble over each other, sliding down muddy banks. They're learning to become skilled hunters, but for now, they're too young to forage on their own. This pup is only a couple months old and still relies on his mom for food and protection. That's why when a male otter shows up, things get tense. Male otters are larger than females and compete for the right to breed. Sometimes this competition gets rough. Males have been known to steal food from pups, so this one quickly chases the male away. Life for otters isn't all fun and games. In fact, it can be downright dangerous. Not only do they have to worry about other otters stealing their food, they also have to deal with predators like coyotes and bears. And those are just the terrestrial threats. When you live in water, your neighbors include largemouth bass and northern pike, wily fish that will eat anything that moves. And to top it all off, humans have hunted otters for their fur and destroyed their wetland habitat. Today, only about 20% of the world's river otters remain. Thankfully, the pup's mom is alert and keeps them safe. She returns from her fishing trip and plays with her pups. As they tumble over each other, they chitter and bark, sounding like little dogs. Although the pups aren't ready to hunt yet, they're learning how to be otters. And part of that is knowing how to communicate with each other. When they're older, these calls will help them coordinate while hunting or warn them when it's time to hide from a predator. For now, though, they just sound adorable. Just like the salmon flies and the cutthroat trout, the otters and the Yellowstone ecosystem are changing with the seasons. Spring flooding brings renewed life to the rivers, welcoming back billions of insects and the fish that eat them. For the people of Yellowstone, this season means busy days guiding guests through the park and spotting the amazing wildlife that calls it home.